Hey everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping Like a Girl, or welcome to if you are new. I'm Natalie, and today's video is from our time spent with Kamon and his family. We got a little sneak peek at their experimental yard, so enjoy the clips. So we're over here in Kamon's experimental yard, and looks like you have them on the ground. So are you planning to kill your bees?
Kill my bees. No, I really try to avoid that when I can, but there is a lot of people that ask me about why the hives are on the ground. They also ask why I put frames on the ground. Don't you know that's going to encourage disease? Don't you know that's going to kill your hives? And maybe in some places there's something that could kill the hives if they're on the ground. This is not one of those places. I've put hives on the ground for well over a decade, and it is preferable to have them off the ground for ventilation, get a little bit of air circulation under there, keep them dry. In Tennessee, we get a lot of rain. It's not going to flood here. There's no standing water here, but it's good to get that air circulation underneath the hives. However, we had a location that we wanted to put the experimental yard in originally, and we weren't able to use that. So temporarily I've had to sit them in this yard, and they very soon are going to be getting a different bee yard where they will stay. So that's why they're on the ground, because there's no point in getting them off the ground and having to do that later. But if somebody tells you out there that you can't do this, you know, Kamon does. I don't know if that's worth anything, but a lot of people put their hives on the ground. Ian does up there in Canada, and they haven't done anything but froze to the ground a few times.
So what are some of your goals for this yard?
Well, the goals primarily are to test legal treatments, oxalic acid vapor with a brood break, oxalic acid dribble, Apiguard, which is a thymol product, and then we may check one or two things out. I'll be doing a poll very soon and asking people, the local yokels, and hope they don't watch this channel. I seriously doubt it. There's a certain level of refinement that comes with YouTube. Anyways, our goal is to really check these products out. A lot of them are tested by the companies, but I think some of them don't quite live up to maybe what we're told that they do. I think it's natural, even for us as beekeepers, to kind of create certain. We get a little bias sometimes, and we've really got to fight that. We've got to try to be as just unbiased as possible and just look at the data. And more importantly, our goal is to keep all of these hives alive if possible. I am confident that some of these treatments are going to work better than others, and some of them I've used several times before, but I have not done the alcohol washes afterwards and really kept good numbers. So I hope to clear up some things on my end, share that with everybody else, and long term I'd like to see this go several years and check out multiple treatments. Primarily the main goal is to dial in Varroa control. That is our #1 problem in this country. Most people just want their bees to be alive and make a little bit of honey, but Varroa mites keep costing them beehives lots of money, and it's not all about production like it is for me. But I think a lot of people get confused that professionals like Bob and Ian and myself, I'm on the smaller side of professional beekeeping, but that when you get to that point, it's all about the money. And yes, we've got to provide for our families, but you don't beekeep if you don't love it. And we love seeing healthy, really nice colonies. So our goal is to just show those treatments, how they're working, and also to show kind of how we manage colonies. So shortly, I'm going to have some videos on my channel where we're going to be in here checking and see how the colonies are going, feeding them, adding the second boxes to them, and then once we get into summer, when we actually start treating here normally, then we're going to be doing the alcohol washes, then doing the treatments, the follow-up alcohol washes, and sharing those numbers with everybody. And also showing splits and other things like that, which is also a part of healthy sustainable beekeeping. So does that answer your question?
So Kamon said we can get into a couple of these experimental hives, so let's do it.
All right, so we have got 52 to pick from, and we've got all kinds of different stages. I'd like to say thanks to J.W. Apiaries for donating these so we'd have the opportunity to do the testing. And just like any producer, whether it's me or anyone else, when it comes to agriculture, whether it's plants, bees, whatever, when you're talking 52, they're not all going to be exactly the same. So some of these are a little bit stronger than others. So we're going to get into one that's strong, and we're going to get into one that's average. And we do have a couple that are a little bit smaller, but they look really good. And as things progress, things should even out pretty good. So let's get into this one right here. We're going to get into the Apame ones today. And pop these like the Yeti coolers of beekeeping. Can I say that? I'm saying it. So we have our feeders right here. This one is completely drained, this feeder. After we installed them, we put half a gallon of syrup in each one. They're a little bit thinner than 1-to-1. So what you can do is just leave one side on, but I like to take them off. It's actually a feature I'm not a huge fan of, just because it's not just the Apame, but it's any hive feeder that I have to remove every time before I can get to the bees. It's kind of aggravating. But there's no such thing as a perfect feeder. Bucket feeders just are that way, and they're pretty nice. Frame feeders take up a space or two of frames, so no such thing as a perfect feeder. It's all just personal preference. And one thing real quick, if you think about it, you can invert your lids and they will sit down right in there. I can't wait to get these up on something. So most of this is foundation. That nice Premier foundation. It's a little bit smaller than the average, a little over 4.9, just barely, millimeter. Wow, they're doing a good job drawing out this comb right here. And I don't see any eggs in there quite yet. And let's just check over a little bit more. There's not a whole lot of checking that needs to be done. We're in the prime flow. They've got some capped brood and some different stages of brood down in here. Yeah, this one's emerging, and the queen's been laying up some of the areas that have less. So population is growing. Many of you are probably wondering how big the nukes came, and like I said, there's different sizes. I told Kev, he's sponsoring them. I'm like, man, you don't have to give me, packed 5s of everything. And so, some of them that he brought were good quality, but they were about 3.5 frames of bees that were, building. This one I think was probably around 4 frames of bees on installation. But some of them were going to be like this one right here. So, that's really all we need to see right there out of that one. I'm a big fan of, sometimes you got to disturb the colonies, get in there and do some intensive work, but really they're laying, they're drawing foundation. If bees are drawing combs, well, that typically means they're healthy. Sick bees just don't draw combs. So that's always a good sign. Now, just because your bees aren't drawing comb doesn't mean they're sick. Might mean it's just a bad time of the year. You might be feeding them like crazy, but if there's no protein coming in and they're not wanting to naturally build in population, you're not going to get a whole lot drawn. All right, so this one right here, I'm going to put another Apame box on it, but it just outgrew the bottom one so quickly. I only had a wooden box, so I'll have to transfer the frames over. Excuse me. All right, so yeah, they've definitely cleared their feeder. And they won't be much into the second box, but I felt like they were already capable of having one. And you definitely don't want any of these to swarm on me. So the top box will just be one frame of larvae and then foundations. Wow, that is nice. So we're just getting that nice, gorgeous comb. And there is the queen right there. That is gorgeous. So that's awesome. She's right there. And we got this where they're starting to build that comb or that foundation out. Goodness. Allergies, gotta love it. So the queen's right up here doing her job. You know, honestly, Natalie, if you could do me a favor and pry that box off right there.
Take it off?
Yeah, just go ahead and pick it up and set it on this hive.
Which one?
Yeah, just that one right there will be good. And so they're drawing some frames down in here. They've drawn this one out, this one, and they're starting some past that point. And up here they've got this started on this one's drawn. Of course that one is drawn. What I'm going to do is take this queen though and stick her down in here. I'd like her to stay down and lay up some more of that space. I don't recommend that everybody do this. You can damage your queen if you're not used to picking them up. Practice with drones. You can get really comfortable practicing on drones. They have no stingers. Queens won't sting you anyways. Well, there we go, I missed. And now she can lay up in those combs down in there. But were you able to see any of the eggs down in there? I'm not sure if the lighting you can, but it's gorgeous. The bees seem to really take to the Premier Foundation. It's just got such a heavy wax coat. All right. But yeah, they're looking really good. Of course, it's just building up hives just like I regularly would, but we've got to, the hard work comes when we get to the treatment period and really testing with the alcohol washes what the mite levels are, doing the treatment exactly and in a controlled manner, then doing the alcohol washes 1 week after the treatment periods are over and seeing what the damage is and punching the numbers. And not only that, doing an alcohol wash, you know, say if we treat first week of July, then I want to, you know, check and see how they did. So some of them we might have to come back and do some follow-up treatments to get the mites down where we want them if they didn't kill good enough. And then we'll show you how we did that, the follow-up treatments. And then we're also going to have to, I think we should anyways, take alcohol washes in late August when the bees are starting to gear up for that fall run. And it's really critical that those mite levels are still low. So we need to check and see how the mites have rebounded, if they have at all, and make sure that they're kept down, because that's when your winter bees are created. I mean, if you can create an extra 25% of winter bees because of low varroa pressure, that's a massive difference on what your colony is going to look like coming out of winter. It just makes all the difference. Sometimes it's the difference between a colony that comes out and it's limping and a colony that's coming out and you're having to pull bees from it in late February because it's wanting to swarm early March in Tennessee. So anyways, that's kind of what we're doing around here. Lots of crazy stuff, but the bees are looking pretty good. It's a good time of the year, fun time of the year. Besides people who have allergies, achoo, it is awful. All right, Natalie, you take us home.
Well, Kamon, it looks like these hives are a little bit better size for you, don't you think?
better size for me. Because they're short or because they're built tough?
Which one do you think?
I'm going to go with the built tough, and that they're pretty tough, sharp, neat, clean, cool, up tight, all right, and out of sight. Just remember, I came from a line of cut-ups, so if you can dish it out, I can take it, and then I can dish out a little bit too. So you've got a ways to go one-to-one, but you're on your way for sure.
We've had a really great couple of days, and we really appreciate Kamon and Laurel and their family for letting us visit. We hope to make more videos in the future. So thanks for watching. Follow along for more bee adventures, and be here next time on Beekeeping Like a Girl.